You're with NewsMakers on the panel this week. John McKenzie, Paul Lonsdale and Dave Henderson. Well, Christchurch certainly loves to go hammer and tongs on heritage. Enter the university and their plans return home to the Arts Centre with their designs on the car park with this conservatorium idea. The proposal has whipped up a storm of controversy. Chris Doig expressed serious reservations about the project here last week. And of course, the Ducks Deluxe are now entering the fray along with the heritage campaigners. What do our panellists think of the general idea? Dave?
Mike, from an urban planning design point of view, I think it is challenged. I don't see it as being ideal for that site. I don't see it as being something when that site was originally conceived and put together, and it's a pretty cool site, that would have been seen as something that sits in there. So from that point of view, I think they've got some challenges and some issues. From a expense point of view, I can't begin to imagine how it can be justified. You can't spend $15 million on a 300-seat theatre. You know, that just doesn't even begin to get there. It makes sense. But then thirdly, I mean, it's great that the university are thinking about coming back into the city. You know, of course, that's just wonderful. They should never have gone in the first place. So it's great to see them, to see the possibility that things might happen and they could do that. But I just think there's other options, you know, so. All
right. We may explore those options if we have time.
Yeah.
John, you like the idea, right?
Oh, yeah, I do, and I get where Dave's coming from as well, and the cost and the sort of thing. So maybe those are things that need to be worked through. But I think the idea of bringing that back into the central city, it'll be lively. It'll bring some energy into the central city. I think oh, God bless Richard for being, you know, worried about creating a wind tunnel and too big for the site. I get some of that, but I think it could be good for the Ducks. Suddenly, it's another draw card to bring people in, spend some money at his place afterwards or before. I think it's so long as some of the issues that have been raised, maybe it's too big, maybe that sort of thing. But I think, well, bring it on. Bring the university back to the central city. Bit of life and energy for that site, I think. It's a good thing. Sorry, Richard.
Sir Miles Warren has talked about the site as being, you know, the missing tooth, but many people are seeing it as the missing fang when they look at his designs. What do you think of it, Paul?
Well, he's done some work on, obviously, Christ College, integrating some of the modern facilities there with the old. So I think as long as it carries on in that sort of vein, it'll be fine. I think bringing students and youth back into the city is fantastic. It's going to be only good for us. Getting the youth to embrace their city again is going to be very, very good. And yeah, there's probably more positives from a people's perspective embracing the city than there are negatives. And obviously financial stuff and other concerns need to be looked at, and they need to be talked through.
Just a couple of very quick things. First of all, do you think the idea of the City Council and the vast financial resources being used to facilitate this particular transaction is necessary? Or would you rather the university just do a direct deal with the Arts Centre if it's really such a good idea?
Well, I think the university's been quite cute about this, and the university's trying to get the funding and saying, well, we're doing the city good by coming into the central city. You know, I think the university needs to get real commercially. If it wants to maintain itself as a significant university educational institution, it needs to be in the central city. Kids don't want to be out at Island. And I guarantee they're losing heaps of students every year to Wellington and Dunedin because the kids enjoy the lifestyle they get by living in a CBD in both those situations as opposed to living in the suburbs out there. Yeah. So the university needs to make the investment.
I actually thought for a lot of university students in Christchurch, their idea of the music centre was the Ducks Deluxe on a Friday night, you know, with a live band.
That's probably a very good point. Yeah. But I agree with that. I think the university needs to get real with some of the commercial realities, but I still think it's be great.
Mr. Enthuse, the Odeon, is that a possibility?
Oh, very much so. I mean, I had Roy Sharp through there last year. Gorgeous old theatre. You've been inside it.
I love it.
You know, and it seats 600 or 700. And 130-year-old theatre. It's the oldest working theatre in New Zealand. We will get that going this year. And I had suggested to the university that there's opportunities for them to utilise that. And that's a good example. It's a great neighbourhood theatre. It would be great for those activities. And there's the ability in that area to develop, you know, complementary ancillary facilities, you know, for them.
Okay.
It's not far from Soul Square and
exactly. Exactly. There's a vested interest as well, possibly.
Oh, yes. Actually, that is a magnificent old theatre. Yeah.
It's stunning.
Yeah. Now, noisy neighbours and the noise averse. Of course, Ruapuna has been a fascinating issue to follow, and the City Council have approved the idea of buying up those trackside properties on Heskett's Road to try and neutralise this noise-related standoff once and for all. Given the planning change in 1999, do you think the council is admirably trying to mop up a mess it created? Or is this just opening up Pandora's box to every noise-averse noddy in town? John?
Well, I must admit, I'm not... What's going to happen with people in Littleton, on the hill there? The port's a bit noisy. Well, there's the whole issues around the airport. I'm actually out to count on this a wee bit, and I'm not entirely sure how I absolutely feel. I think it does open up Pandora's box to some degree, that you could have people living near the airport, and Littleton Harbour and bits and pieces. So I'm just trying to get my head around how the whole process works. I just fundamentally think that it's an issue that the council potentially probably feels as though they had to do something. But yeah, I think
where's this going to take us?
If I was living near the airport and I was upset about jumbo jets flying over my house at midnight, I'd be probably going, well, look what you did down the road there at the raceway.
Show me the money. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. I don't think that the council should get involved in it. It just opens up too many cans of worms and open for so many other issues.
Now, I have to ask you, Mr. Henderson, given your recent experience in the interface between property and the council, how much money is sloshing around in this strategic property purchase account the council has?
I have no idea. I'm the wrong person to ask.
It's bottomless. So. They won lotto and didn't tell us.
Yeah. But look, what is the problem? It's very quantifiable. It's not all the time, is it? It's only at certain times. And, you had to be blind Freddy if you didn't know that there was a racetrack there when you bought a property there, So, and everywhere you live, no matter where it is in the world, everywhere you live comes with a price. As I said, I live in the central city. There's a noise issue with the central city. But you know that when you move in and you accept it. As John was saying, when you're out by the airport, you know there's going to be planes flying over you. When you're close to Ruapuna, not just close, but within some, probably quite reasonable proximity, there is going to be noise. All those things happen. You just got to get real and live with it.
Yeah, true.
Before we go to the break, of course, one of the big stories of the week emerged on Friday morning with the dramatically tragic news that Michael Jackson has died. Just a very quick comment on the remarkably surreal life and times of Michael Jackson. What do you think, John?
Really sad. I mean, for all his history, it really caught me by surprise. And I think maybe you could say it put him out of his misery. That's probably it. But it's probably a bit harsh. But it took me totally by surprise, and I think an icon of the industry, no matter what you think about him, is gone.
Paul?
Yeah, like it. The Elvis of pop.
Yeah. And
it is a real shame. It's a big shame to music. I think the pressures of his, over the last 10 years, have actually put a cap on a lot of his creativity, media pressure, and it is a real shame. Shame for the industry.
Epic loss?
Yeah, he's only 50. He's a young man. He's younger than you. And... He's an eccentric, and I love eccentrics. I think they're great. They make the world a colourful place. He never caused me any harm. So.
You never went to Neverland.
Yeah, that's true.
I switched up with Michael Jackson. I see a whole other career starting up. Anyway.
All right, we'll take a break. Coming up, we'll have a look at the All Blacks test tomorrow and the ticket issue struggle and smoke-free parks, plus plenty more. Do stay with us.